hello racing fans, and welcome to our Gallop TV preview show for Saturday. It's Saturday the 16th of November, where we at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. It is a standalone meeting when it comes to local racing. I trust that you, the valued racing fan, as well. It is a busy afternoon that will begin at 1200 hours sharp, which will be race number 1. And we should close things off at 17:10. The big one, the pick 6, is race number 4 at 13:40. And there are, a few competitive races and a feature race as well. The Cape Mile is a Group 3 that will fall part of the exotics. It comes up in race number 7, and that race does kick off jackpot 2 as well. But we're hoping to get some guidance from Mr. Graham Hawkins, who is on the line, as he always is, for Western Cape Racing. And, I don't want to open up wounds, but I was following Graham religiously on Saturday at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, and there were some massive payouts, and his bipod nearly came home, fell in the last leg, and it paid a whopping, I think, 50,000 plus. Graham, stiff last week, but you were on the mark with most of your selections, which is appreciated by the racing fans.
Yeah, so close, but no cigar. If only Symphony and Whites had run second, I still think the bipod pays 10 grand plus. But not to be. Asia Pambili did us proud by going down a short head only under 63.5. But that's the way it goes, and we pick ourselves up off the canvas and go again.
Yeah, as I was telling Graham off air, you need a lot of luck to go your way. You can put in the grind, the hard hours, studying the form, but when those gates open, you need a lot of luck to go your way. Hopefully it does this Saturday. Let's begin, Graham. Race number 1 is a maiden plate over 1,200 meters, and you'll see that there are a lot of unknowns in race number 1. First-timers, I think, just wait for the comments and do what you usually do when judging these first-timers. But I'll give you horses that are in single figures here, Graham. Number 2 at 4-1. Horse number 4 at 8-1. 5 is a 9-2 shot, and that has been backed. Cork Bay 9-2 into 7-2 Hollywoodbets. Then we go on to number 14 at 7-2, and it's double figures, the balance. Yeah, Graham, it's not forming part of the exotics, but it's a big field, a competitive race, form to go around those that have raced, and a few unknowns. So this could be a nice way to try and possibly catch a quartet in race number 1.
Absolutely, Dees. The form line that comes under scrutiny here is the Shipendani form line of the 19th of October. And Shipendani runs with a big chance later in this card. The horses that ran 2nd, 3rd, and 4th behind Shipendani reoppose here. They being in order of their finish. Number 14, Elsinore, ran 2nd. Number 2, Gimme a Thrill, ran 3rd. And number 1, Kenichiwa, ran 4th. And if that form line holds up, then there'll be big players in this race. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to number 5, Cork Bay. You can pick holes in the form line. They haven't really been franked, but he has been gelded since his second racetrack appearance when a close second behind Bagatelle Flash. And I'm banking on the fact that this impressive-looking son of Rafif is going to benefit enormously from gelding. So my top choice would be number 5, Cork Bay, ahead of 14, Elsinore, and 2, Gimme a Thrill. I'm not expecting any major reversals in form. It does look like an attractive quartet race. You can take your chances and bank a number 5, Cork Bay, to win it with a couple of runners to run 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, or go the box or floating bank route. But I'm expecting the form book to hold up. Be interesting to see how the Shipendani form line holds up, but I'm going to go with number 5, Cork Bay. It's a really impressive looking horse, and I think gelding will do the trick for him. Also, lots to like about number 4, Charlie Bucket's debut effort behind Garrix. Garrix was very impressive, and Charlie Bucket can only improve on that.
Yeah, I like your thought process with number 4, Charlie Bucket, because that's trading at around 8-1. And he's well related as well. He's a half-brother to Undercover Agent. So Graham has given us his thoughts, leaning towards the gelding. Number 5, Cork Bay, is the possible roving banker in the race. But barring that horse, well, keep an eye on that Shipendani form line. Race number 2 is the start of the bipod. It's a maiden plate over 1,400 meters. As we bring up the field, we'll give you the betting with horses in single figures. Number 3 is at 11-2. Then we got number 5, Rich Folks Hoax, opened up 9-2. That has shortened Hollywoodbets 7-2, and that was a pleasing introduction to racing down in the Western Cape. Number 7 at 8-1. 8 is a 3-1 shot. Then we go down to 7-1 in number 12, Real Stunner. Kabelo Matsunyane is in town. Of course, we wish Louis Mkotwa well amongst the others. Muziyeni and Samanga Kamalo are the other two that spring to mind, but Louis is firmly part of the bread. So Kabelo's in town. He rides a lot for James in the Highveld. 15 at 8-1, and Gavin Larena also in town. Graham, this race here, there's going to be horses that are going to be ridden for luck, that have form from wide draws, and some other horses that have benefited from good draws. I think the draw could be the deciding factor here, Graham.
Winter course, 1,400 meters, the draw is always going to be a factor, and this is quite an evenly matched maiden field. Number 5, Rich Folks Hoax. There was a lot of talk about him on course last time when running second to Major Master. So he's likely to step up further. I'm not surprised there's been a bit of anti-post market support for number 5, Rich Folks Hoax. But this is quite a tricky little race. Number 3, Marine Merchant, missed his engagement last time due to the dreaded TCO2 testing. So he makes his third racetrack appearance after 2 placed efforts. We spoke about Cork Bay having his first run as a gelding. Well, the same comment applies to number 8, Land of the Rising Sun. Shown decent promise. Again, you can pick holes in the form lines, but he has his first start as a gelding. Richard Faree takes a ride for the Justin Snaith team. They're obviously very much in form. As you mentioned, some of them have drawn wide. That includes number 12, Real Stunner. Good second behind Diablo. That form line is yet to be franked. And 15, Okavango has the worst draw of all. So I'm not taking too many chances. In the opening leg of the bipod, which is again my suggested bet, I'm going with all of numbers 3, Marine Merchant, 5, Rich Folks Hoax, and number 8, Land of the Rising Sun. I can't help but get the feeling there's more to come from number 8, Land of the Rising Sun. He may prefer to go a little bit further. He's quite a scopy individual, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He is my first choice, narrowly ahead of number 5, Rich Folks Hoax. Both of these sons of Denon Platina, but 3, 5, and 8 in the opening leg of the bipod. Could there be an upset? Well, that's always a possibility. But once again, I'm looking towards the principles to find out the finish.
3, 5, and 8 for Graham Hawkins, and I'll just keep an eye on this horse, Green Garnet. That wasn't in fact, that was a very good first run for Eric Sands, and we'll see if he come on from that, because I thought it was patently too short for him. 3, 5, and 8 for Graham Hawkins, and it does look a tricky race, but we'll see how it works out in leg 1 of that bipod. Race number 2, 13:05, is the place accumulator. It's over 1,400 meters. This is a progress plate, but the best weighted column will tell you very little because it's very tight. Number 3, Snow Pilot, is the 9-10 shot here for Justin Snaith. Number 5, Beyond Ironside, is at 7-2. And then one more runner in single figures, Graham, and that's going to be horse number 9, William Iron Arm, who will be debuting for the Dean Kannemeyer stable, a horse that's always been highly thought of by Tony Peter up in Gauteng. So, Graham, I mentioned that it's the best weighted column. I mean, it doesn't tell a story between these runners, and of course some of them the rating has been earned over further, so you can't read too much into that. But we did speak last time out about Snow Pilot versus the youngsters, Graham, and the youngsters, they were creditable, One Stripe and Talk to the Stars, but it just showed that this horse number 3, Snow Pilot, on his day, Graham, he's a very good horse.
It's surprising that last season's Guineas winner is still eligible for a progress plate, which is restricted to 3-time winners. So yes, he's only won 3 races in his career, including, of course, last season's Grade 1 Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas. Now, last time out, Snow Pilot was absolutely slung in against the younger horses when you think that One Stripe had to actually give him weight and was tremendously far out on the weight for age scale. Not so this time. We got an interesting runner in the form of number 5, Bjorn Ironside, who receives 8 kilograms from Snow Pilot, and we know that Bjorn Ironside comes with a big reputation. He'll have Guineas aspirations of his own as he moves towards that race on the 14th of December, so this will be a critical trial for number 5, Bjorn Ironside. But Snow Pilot is the shortest price favourite on the card. He is going to be tough to beat. It is his second run after a rest. Last time out, Richard Free just scooted off to the front and made all to win comfortably by 1 length over 1 stripe. Whether he'll ride him the same from the neat draw of 3, I'm not sure. I think this time they'll be looking to sit him in a little bit. Bjorn Ironside is still very much on the green side. He still leaves the impression that there's a lot of improvement to come. And then, as you say, number 9, William Iron Arm, also comes with a big reputation. He was placed in the Gauteng Guineas last season. He was placed in the SA Classic. He has his first run for the Dean Cannemeyer stable. Could be on the sharp side, but he could come out fresh. He could come out running. And he definitely has a chance. You've got to go with number 3, Snow Pilot, as the obvious first choice. But you alluded to the fact that although he is a Grade 1 winner, the best weighted column suggests that this could be tighter than expected. Snow Pilot, the top choice, ahead of number 5, Bjorn Ironside, and number 9, William Iron Arm. These 3 do stand out. The rest could be chasing for minor money at best. I'm going with 3, Snow Pilot, and 5, Bjorn Ironside in the bipod, including them both just in case, but Snow Pilot obviously on overall form the clear first choice.
Okay, I think Graham is on the mark with these 2 runners. They are horses that are first and second on the betting boards, but rightfully so, because the balance, I think if anything else, has to come and win. Some horses are prepping for the season, others is too short, and then these 2 horses, well, I think they look the part here, numbers 3 and 5, and the joker of the pack is number 9, debuting for Dean Cannemeyer. Race number 4, the Pick 6. This is the bet that we all love to catch. It's so difficult. It's all about the perm, how much is going to cost, what percentage are you willing to take. Hopefully it works out this Saturday for you. It's over 1,400 meters, and this is how they're betting. Number 2, that has shortened in from 7-2 into 3-1. That's Power and the Glory. We'll ask Graham on his thoughts on how he thought this fella won last time out. Number 4 at 8-1. Then we go on to number 9, San Pedro, who was backed against a very talented Raskova, but had to settle for third, 22-10. Number 11 at 8-1. 12 is at 8-1, and 13 is at 8-1. 14 is a scratching. I'm going to begin with the unknown in the race, a horse that we want to see how good he can turn out to be. He's the well-related half-brother to Double Superlative. He's been off for 5.5 months. Graham, the way this horse won over 1,400 meters, I don't know if you can do a refresh memory-wise. 5.5 months he's been off for, the son of Gimme the Green Light, Power and the Glory. 1,400 meters that day. He won in a manner of a good horse, Graham, once they stepped him up in distance.
He did, Dees, and I'm sure they've got bigger plans for him. He looks as if he could be a possible Derby horse. Maybe the Guineas will be too sharp. Maybe the Guineas will come too soon for number 2, Power and the Glory. Richard Faree takes a ride. He's had to shed a half a kilo or a kilo or so to get down to 53.5. So that's a clear indication that Richard Faree believes it's worth his while. So from a neat draw, number 2, Power and the Glory is definitely one for the shortlist in what is yet another very competitive Class 3 handicap, 1,400 meters. 9, San Pedro. Well, you know we're going to get a good gallop here. He's likely to go to the front. That is his want. His stable companion, number 7, Scalini, also likes to go forward. So not quite sure what the tactics will be. Maybe Scalini will go forward and San Pedro take the box seat. But I think the pace will be on. That could set it up nicely for number 2, Power and the Glory. Others with chances that you've got to consider: 11, Cheeky Laddie, 12, Big Unit, and 13, Roche Kadesh, but they're all drawn out a little deep. Another one that's drawn deep and gets my vote for the value bet of the day. Now, value bets didn't run too badly last week. I like a little bit of this horse at 25-1, number 10, King of Spin. 53.5 on his back. He won his penultimate start. Last time out, he was 6th, beaten only 2.5 lengths by Kaiboy. That's turning out to be a very strong form line. The two winners to come out of that race were last weekend's winner, the feature race winner, Mon Petit Cherie, comes out of that form line, as does Arctic Wizard. So last Saturday, we saw that form line behind Kaiboy being franked in a really big way. Now, number 10, King of Spin, does have an awkward draw, but he's a lightly weighted 4-year-old, and he could go well here. So my advice is to, certainly from a trifecta and a quartet perspective, don't ignore the chances of number 10, King of Spin. I'm going to go with number 2, Power and the Glory, as my top choice, ahead of number 9, San Pedro, and number 10, King of Spin. There are others with claims. These Class 3 handicaps are competitive. San Pedro is clearly the class act in the race. But the pace should set up nicely for Power and the Glory. It is the winter course, though, and that should suit San Pedro. So he is the one to beat. But I don't think that the betting fairly reflects how open this race just might be.
Okay, and that is something that you're going to have to decide, a valued racing fan. How many horses are you going to go in leg 1 of that pick 6? Graham has given his thoughts. Short or wide? Up to you to aim and pick those numbers. Race number 5, 1,800 meters. It's this is it. Yeah, that is the field now. Number 1 at 18-10. Horse number 3 at 2-1. Number 4 at 7-1. 5, 6-1. 6 is at 7-2, and then double figures the balance. Graham, I'm going to lead with this horse called Magic Verse from the stable of Justin Snate. Because having watched those 2 runs, and it's obvious, the way the horse was ridden from those draws, I'm going to suggest that this 1,800-meter trip is going to be no issue. And the fact that he's got a draw, 7-1 looks value.
And he was heavily supported last time out from a very wide draw. He's backed in from 16-1 to 6-1 behind Oliver. So that certainly brings number 4, Magic Verse, into the race with a big chance, as you say, as he steps up to 1,800 meters for only the second time in his career. Equipment change, the tongue tie comes off, number 4, Magic Verse. I don't trust this race at all. I know it's a small field. It's a Cape B stakes over 1,800 meters. I've included half the field in the bipod, and certainly one of those is number 4, Magic Verse. Justin Snaith holds a very strong hand here with numbers 3, Song to the Moon, 4, Magic Verse, and 6, Give Me More Time. Further enhancement of Magic Verse's chances, if you look at the average merit rating of the race, it's 84. He's been campaigning in higher average merit ratings recently, so in effect he's dropping in class and doesn't seem too badly treated, or 55.5, so he certainly comes into the race with a big chance. I slightly prefer the stable companion, number 6, Give Me More Time, who's proven over the trip. I think he'll go well. What is a bit worrying is that Magic Verse seems to be drifting quite alarmingly in the anti-post market, whereas there is money for number 6, Give Me More Time, but even more so for the third string to the Justin Snaith bow, and that's number 3, Song to the Moon. Now, he's a very good-looking son of Water Winter, but when you're looking at Song to the Moon, and of course the very much in-form number 1, Join the Dots, who's on a hat-trick, both of those step up in class here. Join the Dots, the average merit rating of his last 2 wins was 71. This is an 84. Song to the Moon, last time out, 77 average merit rating, and now an 84. So they both step up in class and have a point to prove, but Richard Ferree sticks with number 3, Song to the Moon, and that decision has to be respected. Remember, he's ridden Join the Dots to its last 2 wins, and he might have well had the choice and has opted to go with number 3, Song to the Moon. I've gone with 1, 3, 4, and 6, as I say, half the field in the bipod, because I don't trust this race. It's going to be pace dependent, and I know that Give Me More Time would like the pace to be on. I'm not sure he's going to get the race to suit him, but it's an interesting little contest, and many with chances. So I think you need to include at the very minimum those 4. I know about your rule, you're going half the field and go the whole field as far as the jackpots and the pick 6s are concerned, because obviously Green Mandarin has some sort of claims, and Coronation Type Time is the kind that can suddenly bounce back to best form and cause a little bit of an upset. But Give Me More Time, that's my top choice, but only marginally so. It's a trappy little race, and I don't trust the outcome.
Okay, 4 runners, good enough there, Graham. And numbers 1, 3, 4, and 6 are the principals in a field of 8 runners. And that could be the way to go in jackpot 1 for race number 5. Then we move along to the 6th race, which is over 1,950 meters. And let's go with the betting. Number 1, Aladdin's Lamp. This is a 7-2 shot carrying 61.5 kgs. Then we go on to number 3 at 7-1. Groove Jet number 5 has been backed 5-2 into 2-1. The mount of JP van der Merwe for Justin Snate. And again, one could say that Hollywoodbets Durbanville hasn't been blessed with the best of draws. This should suit the horse much better. Then we go on to number 6 at 7-1, another horse carrying 61.5 kgs. 7 at 7-1, and another horse with 61.5 kgs. Number 8 at 9-2. Well, the reason I'm mentioning the weight, Graham, I know it's there to be carried because of the rating, etc., but it's 1,950 meters. And in this type of field, there are some horses that are very lowly down in the weights, one of them being twice the master, just carrying 51 kgs. But there is not much with the balance of the field when it comes to the gap in weights. Will the cream rise to the top with regards to their ratings? The better horses with the top weight win here, Graham, or stand a better chance of winning?
I certainly hope so, Dees. Not much to choose on the evidence of the last run between Aladdin's Lamp number 1 and number 5, Groove Jet, and further back in that race was, of course, number 4, Twice the Master, that you've just mentioned. Much of my play on the day is going to center around number 5, Groove Jet. This, as you say, is a trappy card. You've got to find a race where you think you can nail your colours to the mast. I know that there's only, half a length or so between Groove Jet and Aladdin's Lamp on the evidence of their last run. But I do think that, coming back to Kenilworth from a kind of draw after horrific draws in his last 2 starts, I think we can roll in with number 5, Groove Jet. I can't say he's an absolute certainty because he is just a one-time winner from 8 starts, but he's enormously consistent. He's knocking very loudly at the door. I've banked him in the buy pot. So 5, Groove Jet, my clear top choice, and in my opinion, one of the better bets in the card. The form book suggests that obviously number 1, Aladdin's Lamp, is a big danger. As you've mentioned, they carry 61.5 and 60 respectively. There are a few lightweights in the race that could get into the fray. Continental Express, not a bad run over 1,600 meters last time out. He's going to appreciate the step up in trip, and he cannot be safely ignored, number 8, Continental Express. But to be to the point, and without laboring this race, I'm really hoping that number 5, Groove Jet, who's been first, second in his last 3 starts, will find his way back into the winner's enclosure. As I said, for me, one of the more strongly fancied horses on the day.
Okay, Graham, we're with you. Yeah, 5, Groove Jet, race number 6, 5-2 in a 2-1. And after those comments from Graham, well, there may be a follow-through on number 5, Groove Jet, come race day. Race number 7, it's the Cape Mile, a Group 3 over 1,600 meters. It's for a stake of 350,000, and the winner will take home just over 207,000. The betting, number 2, Rascallion. Really nice to have him back for another season. A 7-year-old these days. He's at 9-2. We can go on to number 3, Zappatellas. He's just been plagued with problems throughout his career. Hasn't won for 924 days, 11-2. Number 6, Montina, a very strong, solid horse, especially if he has things his own way, 11-2. Then we on to number 9, Royal Aussie. Well, by far the biggest stakes earner in this field. That's because of the race that he won, which carried a big purse. And well done to the connections on winning that. 9, Royal Aussie at 9-2. And then the return of Gimme a Prince now, having his 3rd run this season. And we'll see how he goes over 1,600 meters, Graham. They got him at 17-10. I think I'd like to begin with him because what's your take, having watched him win over a sprinter, run well over 1,400 meters, now him going 1,600, Graham?
Well, the way he's run over 1,400 meters, you have to believe there's every chance he'll see out the trip. If you believe the best weighted column, then he's a standout bet, despite the fact that he's drawn worst of all in this 10-horse field. I know that Dean Canamay is keeping his options open, whether he reverts to sprints during the balance of the season or has a go at the King's Plate, and this race is certainly going to give him a better idea. He was priced up at 5-2. That has been claimed. Dean Canamay has made no secret of the fact that he thinks he's a real high-class horse. His record shows that. His rating shows that. If he gets home over 1,600 meters on the winter track and is not too far out of his ground, turning for home from that wide draw, then he certainly is the one to beat. This race last year was won by Montine. He beat Royal Aussie by a neck. Royal Aussie is now 2 kilograms better off, but Royal Aussie hasn't had the benefit of a recent run, which Montine has had and Gimme a Prince has had. Zapatilis has his third run after being rested and gelded. If you look at the Matcham Stakes form, which was on the 28th of September, so there's been a lot of time for these horses to progress out of the Matcham Stakes. There was only a head between Zapatilis and Gimme a Prince on that occasion, with Montine a couple of lengths in front of them. Montine, we know, is a resolute galloper. Is going to probably go out there and try and make all again. He's certainly done well over course and distance. He's also a very good horse in his own right. You've mentioned Rascallion. He may just need the run, but he has the quality. Sugar Mountain goes into the play as far as trifectas and quartets are concerned. So it's all about Gimme a Prince. I've made Royal Aussie my top choice. I think that this is his ideal course and distance. We know that he's coming back off a slight rest, but he's certainly in the form department. He won the Drill All Stakes. He won the Jetmaster Stakes. He could just have the beating of Montine. But if Gimme a Prince over 1,600 meters is as good as he is over 1,200 meters and the kind of form he's shown over 1,400 meters, bearing in mind that he's won over 1,400 meters and was second in the Drill All Stakes behind Trip Fortune. He beat Thunderstruck, giving him weight over 1,200 meters. In the Matcham Stakes last season, he ran second to Charles Dickens. He's only had the one start after more than a year. So this is his second run after a long rest. We know that he's had soundness issues. He's had his problems. He's 6 years old. He's only had 13 career starts. So Dean Canamay has had to nurse him along. So there are reasons not to throw the lot in behind number 10, Gimme a Prince. I'm going 6, 9, and 10 in the final leg of the bipod. If Gimme a Prince, the proper Gimme a Prince, turns up and handles the 1,600 meters, then he'll win it. But with those few questions above his head, I'm going to side with Royal Aussie. But it's a very interesting race. If Gimme a Prince wins this and wins it nicely, then I would imagine he'll be a live runner in the King's Plate, the Lawrence King's Plate on the 4th of January.
Graham, the race deserved its airtime. I just want to pose one more question to you, because there's a horse that just keeps, nagging me, just snapping at my heels here, Graham. And that's number 5, Shlushlui, because I know how, highly rated he is, the way he's been campaigning as a 3-year-old in all those feature races. Will he be a shock winner?
He'd be a surprise winner for me. He had a very disappointing end to his 3-year-old campaign. And the fact is, the way the terms and conditions of this race work out, he's got 62 to carry.
Yes.
So, he's not the highest rated horse, and he's carrying joint top weight. He's giving away weight to Gimme a Prince. So he would be a shock winner for me.
Okay, let's move along to race number 8, 1,200 meters, fillies and mares. Number 1, 7-2. Horse number 4, 7-2. 5 is at 33-10. Graham mentioned the form line earlier on of Shimpendani, number 7, that's at 7-2. And then 8 is now scratching. And that is it. It's double figures, the balance. Quite tight, the betting here, Graham, between 3 runners, numbers 1, 4, 5, and 7. Does the winner come from one of those 4?
Look, this is a Class 5 fillies and mares, 1,200 meters. Any kind of result can be expected. Last time when All the Boys I've Loved ran in a Class 5, I thought that she might get away with carrying a big weight against limited opposition. And my same comment applies to number 7, Shippendani. We know All the Boys I've Loved races later on ran second on that occasion, so did find one to beat. And there's every chance that the more seasoned, older fillies, although perhaps very limited and in their place in this Class 5 handicap, the fact is that Shippendani has got 61.5 to shoulder. The other 3-year-old, number 2, December Dawn, has got 57 to shoulder. But by this stage, maybe the form line has been franked, depending on the outcome of the opening race. where that form line comes under scrutiny. So yes, I'm going with number 7, Shippen Darnay, to beat home number 4, Lady Loxton, number 1, Royal Lytham, and number 5, Veronique. You know, Royal Lytham, Lead to Glory, Lady Loxton, Veronique, these horses are all in their place, but this is a kind of race that is designed for them to be competitive. And will a young 3-year-old filly be equal to the task of giving them weight? Well, only the race will show, but I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that she's got more to come and perhaps carries too much class for the opposition.
Let's keep an eye on her form lines earlier on today. They certainly could be enhanced in those maiden plates for number 7, Shippen Darnay. We move along to race number 9, where we close off the pick 6, 1,200 meters. Number 1 is at 7-1. Horse number 2 at 8-1. I'm So Pretty, who is just going about her business like she could turn out to be a lovely horse for these connections. 22-10, not that she's already not a lovely horse, because she's won 2 on the bounce. It could be a hat-trick. 5, Babelicious at 33-10. And then we have horse number 9, who Graham has just spoken about in race number 8. All the Boys I've Loved, and Lucinda Woodruff's runner is at 5-2. Okay, she wasn't the winner last time out, but nevertheless it was a creditable effort. And having watched her at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, I think this course could actually suit her better, Graham, number 9.
Yes, she could go well here. Richard Ferree sticks with the ride on number 9, All the Boys I've Loved. As I mentioned, you know, she stepped into handicap company, class 5 handicap, straight out of her debut victory. She had 61 to shoulder. She's down to 56.5 here. She didn't get the job done. She got beat a length by Captain's Destiny, who, of course, reopposes here. So wherever Captain's Destiny finishes, All the Boys I've Loved should be right there and the other way around. So it's a trappy little race because I'm So Pretty, you've mentioned, she's on a hat-trick. The merit of a victory over Bon Bouche has still got to be measured. Babelicious has promised a lot and is certainly one of the more competitive runners in this race. She's got decent form lines and will go close here. So this is not a cut-and-dried affair. The joker in the pack, and you're a Maritzburg boy, Dees. The joker in the pack would be number 7, Maritzburg Memory.
Sure.
By a Grade 1 winner, out of a Grade 1 winner. When she won her maiden, she beat Montpetit Cherie, who came out to win the Western Cape Fillies Championship last week. Form lines behind Symphony in White and Artiste are not bad at all. She could well have needed her last run very badly when disappointing behind Go Like Flow. She clearly comes with a bit of issues. She's had a bit of a stop-start career to date. But if the right Maritzburg Memory turns up, she could blow this lot away, and she's at a big price. So, again, as far as trifectas and quartets are concerned, make sure that you include number 7, Maritzburg Memory, into your place. It could be a factor here. This is a Class 4 1,200 meters, and it's very, very open. It's the youngsters versus the older horses. We've had that discussion oh so many times. The older horses represented, of course, by Captain's Destiny and Lady Lookalike and Philosophize, and there are a number of very promising 3-year-olds here, headed by the favourite, of course, number 3, I'm So Pretty, is on a hat-trick. But I think Babelicious probably sets the standard. All the Boys I've Loved will go well, and I'm looking for a much better run from number 7, Maritzburg Memory. I don't think this is a cut-and-dried affair.
Well, there are times where it's not the form book that comes to the fore, and it's other reasons that make you choose a winner. And hopefully Graham could be on the mark here with number 7, Maritzburg Memory. That's trading at 16-1. Race number 10 is over 1,200 meters, and we close off with a maiden plate for fillies and mares. A lot of unknowns in the race when it comes to first-timers, but this is the way they're betting when it comes to horses in single figures. And it's very narrow at the top of the boards, Graham, because number 11 is at 7-2, and number 14 at 17-10. And then you can pretty much get big prices with the balance of the field. Has the market got this on the mark with these 2 runners?
Well, they are the leading lights. This is a big day for Chad Little. He reappears in the saddle after many years on the sidelines, and Can it be a fairy tale ending to his debut meeting back in the saddle? He rides number 14, Catch a Penny, second in both her starts to date. She was very unlucky first time out. She was probably beaten on merit in her second start, but Chad Little will be hoping, and so will Glenn Cotton and, of course, Richard Forsyth Thompson, that he doesn't have to wait too long to get back into the winner's enclosure. It's nice to have Chad back, and clearly Catch a Penny would be a big winner for him, much more so than the importance of just winning a maiden plate that will send a signal that he's back. But it's not as easy as all that. I do think that number 14, Catch a Penny, is the one they all have to beat. 11, Wild Applause, has had her 2 starts at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, will probably appreciate coming down the lane at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. There was a very good debut behind My Sensation, and certainly not disgraced over 1,400 metres by Garden of Eden after going very quickly in the early stages from a wide-ish draw. She did start 15-10 favourite there. She was possibly overused in the early stages, no fault of the rider. He had to overcome the draw. Richard Faree retains a ride, so expect a much better effort from number 11, Wild Applause. 12, Angels Oasis, got lost in the early part of the race last time out. Expect better from number 12, Angels Oasis. And back at the George, of course, as far as trifectas and quartets are concerned, the form line suggests that one can't be ignored. Just watch the market as far as number 1, So Hot, So What is concerned. Gavin Lorena, as you mentioned, is in town, rides as daughter of Socrates and debut for Lucinda Woodruff, and her comments are very positive. She's expecting a good run. We mentioned the draw down the straight at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. We made quite a thing of it last week, and that's the way it turned out. Until otherwise confirmed, the inside gates do seem to have a slight edge, although I don't expect that to be an excuse for 11, Wild Applause, 12, Angels Oasis, or 14, Catch a Penny. Catch a Penny, the top choice to give Chad Little a big welcome back to the saddle.
Yeah, I'm glad Graham actually mentioned that, because he's got 2 rides on the day, Chad Little. His first ride is in race number 1. Look at the time, it's 1,200 hours. And then in his first meeting back, he'll have to be sitting around for 5 hours. And then it comes to the favorite in race number 10. And wouldn't that be a start of something in his career again for Chad Little? But maybe he can pick up something along the way. You never know what happens during the course of the day. But on behalf of the Gallop TV team, as Graham Hawkins mentioned, yeah, we wish him all the best. All the best, Chad. And hopefully it turns out to be a great start with your winner in race number 10. Graham, let's go to your betting. Let's go to your suggested bet for the day. And you mentioned it was a bipot. So it's up on screen now, Graham, and it looks like a very inexpensive perm with one banker there. I see it's the penultimate race.
First leg of the bipod, 12:30. It's a maiden plate, 1,400 metres, going 3, 5, and 8. That's Marine Merchant, Rich Folks Hoax, and Land of the Rising Sun. Then numbers 3 and 5, Snow Pilot and Bjorn Ironside. Snow Pilot will be a popular banker. I've decided to hedge my bets just a little by including the promising 3-year-old Bjorn Ironside. Going wide in the 4th race, numbers 2, 9, 10, and 12. Top selection there, Power and the Glory, but plenty of cover, 2, 9, 10, and 12. 1, 3, 4, and 6, half the field in the 4th leg. That's Join the Dots and the trio from the Justin Snay stable, Song to the Moon, Magic Verse, and Gimme More Time. Then we're bankering number 5, Groove Jet. And in the final leg, going numbers 6, Montine, 9, Royal Aussie, 10, Gimme a Prince. I'm going to take a smaller perm where I bank a Snow Pilot and perhaps try and get it a couple of times by narrowing a couple of the other legs. But that's my major play as far as the bipod is concerned. The value bet for the day comes in race 4 at 25-1. You can do worse than have a nice little each-way tickle on number 10, King of Spin.
Well, that is a big price. 25-1, number 10, King of Spin. Graham's bipod, if you multiply that per mile, it'll cost you, let's round it off to 30 Rand, which will be 10%. And hopefully you can multiply that perm out, and we'll get a good dividend in that bipod, no doubt about it, regardless of the results. Graham, as always, thank you for your time and the effort that you put in, and hopefully it all works out this Saturday.
Thank you, Dees. Well, the one thing that is definitely going to work out is the weather. The weather forecaster promises promises us a lovely day at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth.
Thanks to Graham Hawkins on behalf of the Gallop TV team, myself, D. Stein, and to you, the valued racing fan. You got lots to play for on this Saturday. It's a standalone race meeting in the Western Cape at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. 10 races to aim at, and hopefully it turns out to be a successful, wonderful day for you. And until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gashle.